Picture this, if you will. Imagine if you could deliver something anywhere on planet Earth in 1 hour or less from orbit, and it doesn't matter what that is, because that stuff's already up there. Imagine being able to do that. Well, that's what this company, Inversion Space, based out of Los Angeles, is attempting to do. Inversion Space is a Los Angeles-based aerospace startup that was founded in 2022, and their focus was on revolutionizing global logistics by leveraging space and low Earth orbit as a new domain for rapid, resilient delivery of supplies. Now, the company's mission is to make Earth radically more accessible by developing autonomous re-entry vehicles that enable precision cargo delivery from orbit to any location on planet Earth in under an hour, which would be revolutionary for everything, whether it be emergency conditions, military situations, contingency operations, humanitarian aid, all kinds of stuff. I mean, literally could be a revolutionary thing. Now, the CEO and co-founder, Justin Flaschetti, who's a former SpaceX engineer, and co-founder Alex Briggs founded this company. And the team right now, they have a team of 25 engineers and specialists with expertise in re-entry systems, autonomy, and hypersonics. They've raised a lot of money for this thing too. A lot of people see the potential for this. Including a $20 million seed round in 2023, and they're operating from its headquarters in Hawthorne, California, near SpaceX facilities. Now, the Inversion Arc is their flagship product, which is the world's first space-based delivery vehicle that was unveiled on October 1st of 2025 during an event at the company's Los Angeles headquarters. Some people have described this thing as not quite a capsule, but not quite a space plane, because it looks kind of like an egg, but is also supposed to be highly maneuverable and a reusable spacecraft based on a lifting body design that is optimized for orbital re-entry and precision landing. Now, this thing's going to transform low Earth orbit into an on-demand logistics network, allowing constellations of these things up in low Earth orbit to be deployed for any type of tailored mission depending on what they have going on. So what the plan is they're going to seed these things up into low Earth orbit. They stay there, and they're supposed to stay there for up to 5 years, or be capable of staying up there in low Earth orbit for up to 5 years, and then be deployable at a moment's notice to anywhere on planet Earth within 1 hour for whatever operation they're needed for. They'll be like assorted in a specific way, tailored to specific mission sets. So if there's like, hey, we have a hurricane or an earthquake that hit this specific place, we need, emergency food, water, and medical supplies. Well, they can have a specific capsule up there, or a bunch of them, that have all of that stuff preloaded, pre-stocked up, and they can just be like, jettison these capsules to this specific location, launch those, and then they can land anywhere on planet Earth within, an hour, and help assist with humanitarian operations like that. Or if it's a wartime scenario and they need to be able to launch munitions at a specific location to resupply people, or if they need to resupply food to troops, or if they need to resupply specific supplies that are tailored for communications, whatever the case may be. I mean, they'll be able to literally prep these things to sit up there far in advance. Like I said, they're planning on making it so that they can sit up there for at least 5 years at a time before they have to return to Earth. Now, the project for ARC is building on Inversion's earlier Ray spacecraft, which was a smaller precursor for re-entry testing that was set to launch on SpaceX's Falcon 9 Transporter 12 rideshare mission in late 2025. Now, one of the core innovations that Inversion is developing for the ARC lies in its ability to deorbit autonomously on demand using AI and things like that, and also being capable of surviving extreme hypersonic re-entry in excess of Mach 20, as well as deliver payloads with pinpoint accuracy even in austere, denied, or weather-challenged environments. And when they're talking about denied environments, they mean like, hey, there's anti-aircraft assets on the ground that could shoot this thing out of the sky. So it needs to be able to re-enter and not get taken out by anti-aircraft assets if it's landing in a war zone. Now, in addition to logistics, ARC is doubling as a hypersonic testbed to offer prolonged exposure to high-speed conditions for faster, more affordable research and development. So this project is going to address critical gaps in global supply chains and also provide, a lot of qualitative and quantitative data for research and development for hypersonic vessels. So that way they can use this information to develop better technology in the future. Now, ARC's design is supposed to emphasize autonomy, reusability, and low cost with a focus on surviving the most extreme re-entry environments. As far as the structure is concerned, this thing's got a lifting body airframe made from lightweight composite materials for durability and reduced mass, and full-scale manufacturing development units are already already built for testing. It's got a pretty versatile payload bay that's supposed to accommodate small to medium cargo, though the exact capacity is not quite disclosed yet. But they're going to optimize it for, quote, mission critical effects like medical supplies or sensors. And there are estimates out that are saying that it could be capable of carrying 50 to 200 kilograms based on the precursor Ray's capability of carrying 100 kilograms. So overall, the vehicle size is pretty compact. It's roughly 2 to 3 meters in length, and it's probably going to be able to carry a fair amount of stuff. Now, obviously, when you're re-entering at hypersonic speeds in excess of Mach 20 plus, you have to have some sort of good heat shields to be able to continue to be re-entering, because they want reusability for these things, because it's going to cost a lot of money for them to not only ride share up into the low Earth orbit, but if they're being used over and over again and re-entering Earth's atmosphere over and over again, you want to make sure that you're not losing them every time you re-enter and having to build a new one, because then you're just wasting supplies and wasting money, and it's not a feasible business investment. So one of the things they did to mitigate that is they created a next generation heat shield that they co-developed in partnership with NASA, designed for hypersonic re-entry with a sustained high G loading prolonged time on condition. So that's going to be super important for the company as they move forward developing this thing as well. As far as like propulsion systems are concerned, they've got onboard thrusters for precise deorbit and hypersonic steering capable of Mach 20 plus maneuvers during re-entry for trajectory control and testing. Now, as far as specifics on like what the thrusters are going to be capable of doing, that information is not disclosed yet. It'll likely end up being classified, especially if they, are aiming to get a government contract eventually. Now, as far as autonomy and avionics, they've got an in-house flight computer that's going to be running custom processing core with AI-driven guidance, navigation, and control algorithms, plus computer vision for real-time targeting. This is going to enable the vehicle to be fully autonomous in operations from orbit to touchdown, so that way it doesn't require a human being controlling it as it's descending to Earth. And that's also going to enable the vehicle to make quick movements and adjustments if they're entering contested environments, like if it's entering a war zone, for example, especially if they're having numerous of these coming down at the same time. Now, as far as the landing system's concerned, they've got an actively controlled parachute system for steering, redirection, and soft landing within 10 feet of the target, which is pretty damn close, especially if it's coming from low Earth orbit to planet side. Now, they've even tested this too with drop vehicles like, quote, Jaws and the Big Tuna in dozens of precise drops. Now, like I said before, also, reusability is a big factor, because if people are investing large amounts of money into this, you want to be able to reuse the same thing over and over again. So they're designing it for rapid recovery and refurbishment post-landing, as well as the parachute recovery. So that way it allows it to be reused after minimal turnaround, which is going to save the company a lot of money. If you burn up your entire, mechanism of reentry every time you use it, you just start hemorrhaging money. So reusability is a big piece too. Now, as far as the orbital operations of these things, they're planning on deploying these things to low Earth orbit, about 200 to 500 kilometers altitude. And what they'll do once they're up there is they'll form these scalable constellations, roughly 5 to 20 vehicles at a time, for global coverage around the globe. So like, regardless of what's going on, they can deploy at a moment's notice anywhere on planet Earth in less than 1 hour. Now, like I said, the primary mission of ARC is rapid global delivery. So they want to have on-demand deorbit abilities anywhere on Earth or around Earth in the low Earth orbit area to any location on the planet within 60 minutes, which is going to be ideal for like urgent resupply in remote or contested areas, whether it's humanitarian aid, disaster zones, or wartime, because they can deliver medical kits to disaster zones or food or water, and they can also deploy ammo or sensors or other things like that to forward troops that are operating in a contested wartime conflict zone. I guarantee you that there's already conversations being had between the Pentagon and these folks as well for critical technology areas in contested logistics and scaled hypersonics. And it would support concepts like the Air Force's agile global logistics for aircraft-sized payloads. So it would be able to sync up with the Department of War pretty easily. In addition to working with the government, they could easily be used for e-commerce, like delivering things for companies at a rapid rate at a moment's notice if they need it quickly. And because of the autonomy that they're trying to set these things up for, they're going to be able to operate in GPS contested environments as well as infrastructure limited scenarios with global reach unaffected by terrestrial disruptions. Now, the company was founded back in 2022 to 2023, like I said, and by September of 2024, they were awarded a $71 million U.S. Space Force STRATFI contract to accelerate ARC. Then on October 2024, they received FAA approval for RAID re-entry, which paved the way for ARC. By October 1st of 2025, they did their official unveiling with a demo video and an event. And they also revealed their logo, which was inspired by like brands like Nike. By November of 2025, they were highlighted in Department of War announcements with the CEO conducting an interview on hypersonics. And then 2025 ongoing right now, they've done dozens of drop tests, mission simulations, and they partnered up with NASA, like I said, for the thermal layer protection system that they have for the vehicle. Now, their plans for 2027 forward is they're trying to figure out how to, deploy the constellations of these things and also more commercial / military operations. They've raised approximately $100 million in funding, including the $71 million from Space Force that was awarded, and seed investors like Andreessen Horowitz, and I imagine they're going to continue to grow. They've partnered with NASA, Kratos Defense, SpaceX, and the Department of War. Either way, by 2030, a lot of people speculate that this could disrupt, $10 trillion plus for logistics markets, especially for defense, which this would totally revolutionize troop resupply. You would no longer need to transport stuff by aircraft or boat, but you could just deploy it up into orbit and then it could shoot down anywhere on planet Earth. Literally like something out of Halo or name any other science fiction series. Warhammer 40K, you know what I mean? So pretty unbelievable stuff. I'm going to be paying attention to see what else they come out with because I think that there's going to be some really cool stuff happening with this company. And right now they're still private. They're not a public company, but imagine what that initial public offering is going to look like. Probably going to be crazy. All right, guys, that's it for the daily roll up for today. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching it from the beginning to the end because believe it or not, that does actually help support the channel because it tells YouTube, hey, recommend this to more people. So if you want to support the channel in other ways, please like this video, leave a comment in the comment section below, or share this video with your friends. All right. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. And as always, we will see you in the next video.